Here again.
Why are they so far away?
It's an all-male media team. It shows that media is not gender sensitive. Okay. She's on the periphery. She's not in mainstream. So now, ladies and gentlemen, we have convened you here today to make some announcements on at least 3 issues which we consider critical to the nation. First, as you have seen, we wanted to let the country know that as a party, Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party will be fielding a candidate in the Bungoma senatorial by-elections scheduled for 8th December this year. Our candidate in that contest will be Honorable Wafula Wamunyinyi. Honorable Wafula Wamunyinyi has what it takes to win the Bungoma seat, and more importantly, he has a record of speaking out for the people of Kenya. Given the scenario unfolding in the country, an emerging one-man regime that is quickly turning its back on the Kenyans and their problems, the country will need seasoned fighters in all critical places. For Bungoma Senate, Honorable Wamunyinyi is our ideal person, and we are pleased to unveil him here and promise him full support of the party in the contest. Secondly, we are here to make our position clear on some of the pronouncements the Oda regime has made in recent days. We are particularly concerned about the regime's plans to inflict more tax burden on Kenyans to finance some of the outlandish and unrealistic promises they made. We are also concerned about the so-called probe into extrajudicial executions, which is turning into a witch hunt against the former DCI boss, Mr. George Kinoti, and some few police officers. Let's be clear on the so-called extrajudicial executions. As a party, we believe in the sanctity of life of every Kenyan. As we have said time and again, we believe in the rule of law. We believe in the due process. Naturally, therefore, we are opposed to extrajudicial executions in our country because our supporters have been the greatest victims over the years. We believe that all, not some, cases of real or suspected extrajudicial executions need to be investigated and those responsible punished. We are, however, firmly opposed to the current trend directed by a vindictive regime that the president that seems to be pursuing a personal vendetta against specific current and past state officers in the pretext of pursuing extrajudicial executions. 7. One of William Ruto's grudge against George Kinoti and the DCI started way before the elections. Ruto appears to believe that the coming of the UDI regime is a perfect mandate for him to punish the officers he long had a grudge against. We are here to say no. We oppose that attempt to sacrifice state officers who, in the line of duty, may have rubbed politicians the wrong way and who are now being selectively punished for having done their job. Ruto seems to be looking for some Indians whom he lost in the middle of the August elections. Those Indians were human beings. They deserve to live, and we continue to pray for their families and hope that they be found alive and that justice shall be done in their case. But we believe the Indians are not the first to disappear, and they will most certainly not be the last if the past is anything to go by. So, as Mr. Ruto mounts a search for the Indians, whoever and whatever they were to him, we want an equally vigorous search to establish the truth behind their disappearance and death of tens of Kenyans, including the following: Sergeant Kipyegon Kenei, the administration police officer, went missing just when he was supposed to accompany his colleagues, the Directorate of Criminal Investigations, to record a statement in the 39.5 billion shillings fake arms probe that involved the office of the Deputy President when Ruto was serving in that capacity. B. Mr. Christopher Koech, who taught at Kaunga Primary School in Mumias, who was later found lying on the side of a road near Shibuli Market with foam in his mouth and was sweating profusely. He was linked to the ICC case. At one time, he was under witness protection and even sought refuge in a neighboring country. Mr. Koech was to travel to The Hague to testify in lawyer Paul Gicheru's ICC case. Meshak Yebei, whose mutilated body was found in Tsavo National Park, some 600 miles or kilometers from the Eldoret where he had disappeared. He too was linked to the ICC cases. D. Journalist John Kitui was allegedly killed for his reporting on the death of a witness in the ICC proceedings. E. Journalist Walter Osapiri Barasa and Philip Kipkoech Bet, alias Kipsengera, Ngeria, both wanted by the Hague-based International Criminal Court for interfering with witnesses. Their whereabouts remain unknown to date. F. ICC witnesses like John Kangede disappeared in 2008. George Dhuo died in 2013. Bernard Kimeli died in 2011. Charles Ndungu Wagacha, Naftali Irungu, Anthony Mwenje, Joroge Gichere, Timothy Mburu Gatira, Njuguna Gitao Njuguna, among other ICC witnesses who disappeared and later died under mysterious circumstances. G. Then there is the lawyer Paul Ndungu, the last of the ICC witnesses who died last September, probably driving the final nail in the coffin of the ICC case. H. Finally, there is Ms. Chris Musando, the IEBC IT manager, who was tortured and murdered days to the 2017 election. I cannot finish without mentioning my late friend, Jacob Juma, who was found shot dead in Ngong Highway, and whose to date his death has not been properly concluded. Jacob Juma, before he was killed, had stated those who wanted him dead. As a party, demand an immediate end to the selective and vindictive process Ruto was embarked on with regard to disappearances and extrajudicial executions. Instead, we demand a transparent, professional and inclusive public inquest to assist the country and families determine the fate or whereabouts of members who disappeared or died under unclear circumstances, including the ICC witnesses and election officials. 12. Finally, the issue of raising of taxes. Despite the campaigns, both Azimio and Kenya Kwanza made promises to Kenyans. During the campaigns, both Azimio and Kenya Kwanza made promises to Kenyans. On our part, we made it clear that they would realize the promises we made without increasing tax burden on Kenyans. It remains our position that Kenyans cannot afford and should not be asked to pay extra taxes for the older regime to realize the outlandish and unrealistic promises it is pursuing. We wish to remind the older regime that we have been here before. When NAC took over power in 2003, the economy was worse off than what Order has inherited from Jubilee. But we were able to put the country back on track, including free primary education, without raising taxes. The Grand Coalition government picked up from the ashes of post-election violence and rebuild the economy, including massive infrastructure, without raising taxes. Order must immediately shelve any thoughts of raising taxes on suffering Kenyans. Instead, Order must improve revenue collection at all collection points like airports, customs points, registration of persons, VAT, and so on. It must stop diversion of revenue, reform institutions like the KRA, NSSF, NHIF, and government procurement. Deducting more money from workers and throwing it at the corrupt and mismanaged institutions like the NSSF and NHIF won't solve any problem. Above all, the government must fight and be seen to be fighting corruption. Those measures will be sufficient to raise money to finance the country without raising taxes. We will resist any attempt by the government to unilaterally raise taxes to finance corruption. End of statement.
Well done.
Here.